Arlington Township School District is required by law to provide all staff members with information regarding Section 504 ADA compliancy and also affirmative action. My name is Liz Scott. I am the district's affirmative action officer and also the district's 504 coordinator as it relates to our staff.
Affirmative Action and Sexual Harassment Staff Training, September 2019. The District Affirmative Action Officers are Liz Scott, Katina George, Christopher Giannotti. The building designees are at Young School, Rafe Vassir, Fountain Woods, Rafe Vassir, Middle School, Regina Haley, and at the high school, Christopher Iconic and Naomi Threadgill. The Board of Education Policies. Sexual harassment of pupils, teaching staff, and support staff is prohibited by the Board of Education. The Board of Education has established policies that address this sexual harassment as stated. Policy 5751, Policy 3362, and Policy 4352.
Sexual harassment is defined as unwelcome conduct of a sexual nature. Conduct of a sexual nature includes both physical and verbal conduct relating to the victim's gender, sexual orientation, or sexual identity. The key test is any conduct that would not have occurred but for the victim's gender or sexual orientation. There are two types of sexual harassment that will be discussed. Quid pro quo is when a school employee explicitly or implicitly conditions submission to sexual advances as a term or condition of employment. This often includes threat of adverse action for failure to submit to advances. It can include promise of favorable treatment if advances are accepted. It includes physical sexual violence as well as verbal statements. Examples of quid pro quo include the promise of promotion or other favorable treatment, threat of termination, threat of humiliation, and threat of violence if refusal to submit to sexual advances.
Hostile work environment. Harassment based on sex that is sufficiently severe, persistent, or persuasive to limit an employee's ability to function in the workplace or to create a hostile or abusive working environment. For students, harassment is defined as the same, but yet limit students' ability to participate in or benefit from an educational program. Also stated by the HIB law, hostile educational environment. A person can be considered a victim even if not the targeted of the offensive behavior. A hostile work environment harassment issue can be limited to only a single incident. Examples of a hostile work environment include unwelcoming touching, including rubbing shoulders, sexual comments about another's body, sharing of inappropriate sexual jokes or comments, forwarding of inappropriate jokes or images electronically to work colleagues, offensive gestures, simulated kissing, sexual activity, employee witnessing unwelcoming sexual-oriented behaviors in the workplace. Reporting of sexual harassment conduct. Any person with any information regarding actual and or potential sexual harassment of a student or staff member must report the information to the building principal, their immediate supervisor, or the AAO. A report will be forwarded to the AAO within 1 working day, and an investigation will be completed within 10 working days. Some immediate steps may be taken depending on the nature of the allegation.
Other types of workplace discrimination that are prohibited include gender and sexual harassment, age, religious and cultural, ESL students, race, LGBTQ, and disability. An emerging legal issue is LGBTQ students and staff. The issue comes in balancing First Amendment rights and rights of students and staff to be free from discrimination. There is a liability for failing to address discrimination against a staff member and addressing transgender students. Staff and social media use. Vicki Knox, a member of the Union of the New Jersey School District, made comments on social media pertaining to her opinion on homosexuality. Vicki Knox claimed her First Amendment right to express her moral views. The district brought tenure charges against her for conduct unbecoming. Knox ended up resigning from her position. Transgender students. There is a duty to protect rights of transgender students and to educate other students, staff, and parents as with all others with protected characteristics. New Jersey law and Board of Education policy 5756 applies to transgender students and staff members. Summary. Be very mindful of what you say to students and staff, because what offends someone else may not offend you. Think before you speak. Remain professional at all times. Remember that all complaints are investigated.